Yeah, what's happening? We about to bring that action. Gotta hold it down for my Seattle Kraken. Hey, we going beneath the waves. We going beneath the waves. Get it hype, step onto the ice. Ready for some action. Release the Kraken. Hey, we going beneath the waves. Going beneath the waves.
It was so fucking long that I almost forgot what I say at the top. I was like, what do I say? What do I say?
For like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What do I say?
What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Beneath the Waves podcast, your weekly recap of all things Seattle hockey and beyond. I'm Matt.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Derek.
We are now into episode 57 of the BTW pod. On our episode today, we will catch up on the last week of games since returning from the winter break. We'll bid farewell to a Kraken fan favorite, and we are going to check in on all the Kraken news. Before we get into those things, Derek, can you tell us what our dear friend Heather has been up to recently?
Yeah, Matt, absolutely. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's show, we absolutely want to shout out our very own Heather. She continues her spectacular coverage of the Seattle Torrent and really does her part to grow the great sport of hockey. The two most recent articles she's published cover the reaction to the women's Olympic performance, the Torrent players specifically, during which Team USA won the gold medal for both the women's team and the men's team. Now, I just want to say we here at BTW. Oh, are you giving me a thumbs down on that one?
No, not you.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, bro, I was cheering for Canada right with you.
I know.
Just want to say that we here at BTW are not a show that we're going to try to discuss politics or tell you what the correct philosophy on the world is. We're here to talk about hockey and goofy stats and whatever Matt thinks about during his allergy medicine psychoses. But during the celebration of the U.S. men's hockey gold medal victory, as a lot of you probably know, hockey news was unfortunately made when President Donald Trump made a phone call to the team to invite them to the White House. And he made a toxic, patriarchal, and downright sexist remark that he would now have to invite the women's team or he would be impeached. Heather details the way the U.S. female Olympians on the Torrent took it and what their thoughts are. Go read Heather's article on this. It's important, but the gist is those Olympians know what they've accomplished. We know what they've accomplished. So it's time to move on from letting those toxic, patriarchal, sexist comments get any airtime or any of our thought power, because even discussing them explicitly provides more attention to their despicable authors. And I don't think anyone is surprised that they happened in the first place, nor the way in which they were embraced. And again, it's not our place as goofy podcasters, nor the players in the PWHL or any female Olympian to have to explain why that entire men's locker room erupted in laughter when those comments were made, why those comments were made in the first place, or as Hillary Knight put it, why someone else's distasteful and unfortunate behavior occurred, and it's not any of their responsibility to do so. Okay, so bouncing off of that and shifting the narrative back to hockey is what Heather's article does so well. It covers the nuance of that situation and then also pivots back to focusing on the Torrent and back to the PWHL season, which is exactly the headspace that all of those great players are getting into. And then there's another article that Heather has as a follow-up article where she details what the Seattle Torrent have maybe not done so well. So go check out Heather's articles. And just want to say we miss you, Heather, and you stay killing it. Another big note on Heather is that she was also interviewed by The Forecast, Seattle's women's sports show on KVRU 105.7. The Forecast is a new weekly show which has a strict focus on the women's sports in the Seattle area, including the Storm, the Reign, the Torrent, and even more. The show airs Tuesdays at 4 p.m. and Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on KVRU 105.7 FM. And there she was asked about the Torrent and the women's performances at the Olympics. And actually, I think, Matt, we have a clip of Heather's appearance on the show. Are we about to play that right now?
We absolutely are.
Let's go. So listen to this.
We've heard actually from several fans at this point who, might be season ticket holders who just bought, into this brand new franchise because they want to be on the ground floor, but they maybe didn't know anything about hockey before. And so I guess I'm wondering too, what are your hopes in terms of what this franchise can do in its first season? Like, what can the Torrent do to build and maintain some of this momentum, but also, become one of the really strong teams here in Seattle?
Yeah, I think they have a fantastic foundation already. And I will say, even during the holidays, the attendance numbers were still up. And I think there's something really special about that too. It didn't really lag. And I think that's pretty amazing. I think, for me personally, win or lose, people are behind this team, and I want that to continue. Even going into the Olympic break, there was still big cheers as the team, left the ice. And I think that's really beautiful. But I also think, I think we have to set expectations around potentially the outcome of the season, right? The PWHL is also unique in that, there's 3 points on the line every night. And that means that things can change really quickly, which is also very fun. But that means even though the Torrent are currently sitting in last, they can really easily rise too. So I think there's expectations to just sort of, we kind of have to level them a little bit that, hey, we are sitting in last place. There's a lot of talent on the team, but with a lot of talent comes a lot of different personalities and a lot of different ways to gel the team together. And it's not easy, right? It's not an easy thing to bring players like Hillary Knight and Kayla Barnes and Hannah Bilka and all of those amazing Olympians we just saw, bring them all together in a team and say, okay, now you're going to play all together. That's also really tough. So I think people thought it was easy. It was going to be easy. And I think there's something to be said about, hey, this team is brand new. These players, while some have played together, a lot of them have not. And so I think as far as, the standings go, I think just being competitive, which they are every night, they never give up. I think that's something that I'm hoping for that will continue. I'd love for them to rise a little more. I'd love for them to hit the playoffs. I would love that part of it too. But if not, I think it'll be a successful season because people are showing up night after night.
Yeah.
So huge thank you to the Forecast host, Maggie Mertens, and producer Jeff Scott Shaw over at the Forecast for letting us play just a small snippet of that interview. Again, the Forecast runs Tuesdays at 4 p.m. and Wednesdays at 9 a.m. over on KVRU 105.7 FM. You can follow the show on Instagram at Seattle Women's Sports. That's at Seattle Women's Sports. I'll definitely be tuning into future episodes, especially once they start hitting podcast platforms that they have in their plans soon, as it was a very easy listen when I tuned in, and Maggie just paints a great picture of what's going on in the Seattle sports landscape, especially as someone who's not native to the area, so there's a lot that I don't really know about it. So as always, a huge shout out to Heather for continuing to knock out the Torrent coverage every week, and it's real good to be back in the swings of Torrent hockey. Derek, this is kind of like shovel story preview, I guess, but you were working the most recent Torrent game, a pretty big milestone game in which the Seattle Torrent faithful came out and set, after a recount of the attendance, set a new U.S. attendance record for professional women's hockey. What was the atmosphere, the ambiance, the just experience like in that arena?
Yeah, it was loud. It was very loud. And something with the ice crew for the Torrent is that I think about 3 or 4 of the crew members now have these like decibel type headphone things that you like put in your ear, and they work the Kraken games too, and they don't use it for the Kraken. But the Torrent crowd I don't know. They just get so much louder. And I was out there one time, and the like just the sheer amount of volume, I was like, I need to get off the ice like right now. So I cannot imagine for like away players that are there. Insane. It kind of reminds me of, like, I said this about the first Torrent game too, and I think that was also close to sold out. But it definitely reminds me of working the Kraken playoff games, because I think that the fans are just, the Torrent fans are just more locked in on, like, the first game of the season, or like their inaugural game, and then also like the first game back from Olympics, stuff like that. Whereas Kraken fans are kind of just like, another game, another another time to show up and see the Kraken do what they do.
I think what's wild about that torrent game too, like I just was watching it through my TV, but yeah, it was a 5-2 loss, but those fans were locked in till the last minute, the last second that the timer ticked down.
Absolutely. Did not feel like a 5-2 loss. If you didn't see the game, there were like two back-to-back empty net goals like right at the end. So it kind of felt more like a 3-2 loss. That's like a Derek certified 3-2 loss. I don't count those those empty netters. So it was a lot closer than it seems, but also they were playing like the second worst team, the Toronto Scepters. So
But asterisks on it, which Heather talks about in her article, we were missing Hillary Knight and Hannah Bilka, who were
huge
two
asterisks.
pretty big juggernauts on our team. So
Absolutely.
all right. So like we will definitely get into hockey talk soon here, but it's been like 3 weeks since we've hung out. So I just want to know, like in the last 3 weeks, what's new, what's exciting? How did you spend your break?
Sat and cried while we watched Team Canada lose in both women and men's. That's one thing. I got a puppy. That's the second thing. So
Heck
that's been
yeah.
fun. Uh, yeah, busy, dealing with two young kids, and then why not just throw a puppy into the mix? So like it's just been absolute crazy over here in my neck of the woods. So wouldn't have it any other way. It's been a nice little break from hockey, but at the same time, I was like very much waiting for Kraken hockey to return. I don't know about you guys, but it just felt like Olympic hockey is great and international hockey is great, and like Olympics is fun, but like I don't know, nothing matches the wonderful and chaotic and depressing uh game that is Kraken hockey. So, but no, great time on my break. What about you guys?
Yeah, I met up with some friends from the ice crew at the Queen Anne Beer Hall at first. Then we hopped over to a different bar. Queen Anne Beer Hall, we were watching Team USA versus Team Germany, and they wouldn't turn on the volume to the game. There's like no one else in the beer hall. And we're like, okay, so we're gonna leave. It's like super easy to just keep your customers. But anyway, Queen Anne Beer Hall aside. Um, I think it was a nice break from hockey, and I think it was also a good break for the Kraken, just to be departing for a few weeks, and we didn't really have a ton of Olympians, so a lot of them got a lot of good rest. Me personally, I'm currently in law school, and that stuff has got me going right now. So that's what I was doing a lot of my break, but I was super excited to see everyone back in like their NHL team jerseys following all the Olympic drama and stuff. I'm locking in on the NHL season. I'm glad the Kraken are back and it's starting to get going. What about you, Matt?
I went to Disneyland. That was pretty sick. We went on a full family trip. So me and Lacey, and then my mom and her partner, and then my sister and her husband and two kids, and my nephew. It's both their first times going. My nephew's 5, my niece is 3, and my nephew is into like super hockey mode right now. Like he plays 5-year-old hockey. Is just absolute chaos. And I send you guys highlight reels of that sometimes of him just going all gas, no brakes. Um, but he's so into hockey. All he wanted to do when we were waiting in like hour-long lines is just watch hockey games on his phone, but or on like his dad's phone. But it wasn't actual hockey games. He would just watch like EA Sports NHL 26 Sims over and over again, and he'd be like super invested into it. And the best part was walking around the parks. There was a few times when there'd be someone wearing like a Kraken hoodie or a Kraken hat, and he'd just like yank on my shirt and go, "Uncle Matt, Uncle Matt, Uncle Matt, there's your team right there." And then I'd make a bunch of Kraken fans or Kraken friends at Disneyland. So if you were at Disneyland on the week of February 14th to 20th and you had Kraken gear on, it was nice, like high fiving you in passing. It was pretty dang exciting doing some
You
roller
you
coasters.
you shout out the pod to them at all? Give them any QR codes or anything?
Oh, I wish I had stickers in my pocket. It would have been a good idea, but uh, nonetheless, maybe they'll just find their way here just by, I don't know, pure chance. If I met you in Disneyland, say hi on Twitter. Okay, let's get into some hockey stuff now. It's been a while since we've checked in on the wheel. Had to look, make sure it was still up and running. Alex, can we money puck around and find out to see where we are on this day, March the 1st, 2026?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're going to talk about the last three games that we've played since coming back from the break. Now this number for Money Puck has fluctuated all over the place in those three games. Before, starting to see like coming back from the Olympic break, we were sitting around like 68%. And then with the way that games were being played out, we had significant drop, but we've been able to rally with our last victory over the Canucks. So right now, as it stands, the Seattle Kraken have a 64% chance of securing a playoff spot during this season. And that means they have a 1.4% chance of securing the first overall pick in this draft. Now, I don't know about you, considering how this team came out from the break, there was a lot of concern on my part. But, managing to secure a victory against one of the worst teams in the league bumps up that number again. So, 64%, coming out of the break, lots of time off. I'm pretty happy with that. There's still some, plenty of time to, get those numbers up, but I feel like we're in a good spot to finally break through into the playoffs for this team for what it feels like a very long time. I don't know about you guys, Derek, Matt, what are you guys thinking about this current percentage to secure, a playoff spot?
No, yeah, 64% sounds great. I believe the points projection is around like 80, it's 89.9 I can see right now. Um, and so 90 points, that seems a little low, but with how chaotic everything is, I guess that's eventually going to get us in. Lower than my projection on the year, but seems about right. So hopefully that'll be good. It looks like the Kings might be a potential threat. The Predators potentially could be as well. It looks like that looks to be about it in terms of the potential threats below us right now. But we are flirting with hopping off that wild card, so it's not good.
Yeah, I have a buddy who's a Maple Leafs fan, and I was texting him today, and he said it must be nice, like having this many points and being knocking on third place in your division's door, while the Leafs have the same amount of points and they're like dead last in their division. So I'll take the anarchy and chaos of the Pacific Division and our chances to try to sneak in. Uh, I'll absolutely take that. 64%, they say C's get degrees. So if we can just mid our way into some playoff action, that'd be awesome. We definitely just need to be more advantageous in the games that we should definitely win. So if we look at the games that all happened this week, we have a record currently of 28, 22, and 9, leaving us in the second wildcard position. We lost 4-1 against the Stars. We lost 5-1 against the Blues, and we won, as was mentioned, 5-1 against the Canucks. Definitely hurts that we did not get that Blues win with them being one of the lower teams, but we get a chance to run that back later this week. In a broad sense of things, how is our vibes feeling before we get specific about it?
I'm feeling optimistic. Like to start out the week, I wasn't feeling optimistic. You blow a game against the Blues, you get just absolutely manhandled against the Stars. So, having those two games to start off this start back up. I was not feeling confident, to say the least. Winning 5-1 against the Canucks, that kind of gives me a little bit more confidence. But the Canucks, again, like I said beforehand, are one of the worst teams in the league. But I definitely think this leaves the door open, especially for this week. And I know we'll probably get into it a little bit later with the trade deadline looming on Friday. I think this leaves a lot open for Jason Botterill and co to make some impactful decisions about this lineup. And I'm actually really excited for this week. I always get excited about trade deadline week, but like over the last couple of seasons, there hasn't been much to be excited about. But this year I am. I think that there's something that is going to happen that we either heard about, or like J-Bots is going to come out of nowhere and just blow our socks off, either in the best way possible or in the worst way possible. So, no, I'm excited. I feel optimistic. And, yeah, we're going to get destroyed by the Stars. The Blues always seem to have our numbers, especially Jordan Kyrou. But, it's nice to get a nice decisive one against the Vancouver Canucks. I'm still salty AF about Jordan Eberle's getting his hat trick taken away, but we move on.
Yeah, pretty wild thing there. But yeah, I also feel pretty good. I kind of I kind of feel like in the middle on things. Um Not like super great or super bad, just kind of like let's hopefully get to the playoffs because that's kind of what we have to do right now and there isn't really a there isn't really the tank option as much anymore. Um but yeah, being at the game last night, things felt really good. So coming off of last night's win, I think there could be some good stuff for this team, especially guys like Eberle, um, Vince Dunn, stuff like that. Like the vibes just felt good, really good last night. Obviously, it's hard for the vibes to feel bad after a 5-1 BTA. So
I'm gonna play two little flashback clips here for you, just to kind of encapsulate my general vibes for this week. This first one is gonna come from our most recent podcast, where I say, if we are scouting people who have our number and do historically well against us, we got to take Jordan Kyrou then, because dude has 9 goals and 2 assists in 12 games against the Kraken. He seems to always score against the Kraken, and I know that because I have vivid memories of tweeting that fact out every time we play St. Louis. He happens to score. You know what? Sometimes I can make good takes and make good predictions, and it's in the stars. It's written in the stars. It is in the DNA of this team that Jordan Kyrou is going to score against the Seattle Kraken. I just audibly laughed on my couch when I saw the alert that Jordan Kyrou scored against us, because I said, of course he did. The second little clip I'm going to play for you here is from our prediction show that we did preseason. Monty and Schwartzy made it happen last year. I think 3 different Kraken players will have hat tricks this season. It has been 2 instances now that my bold prediction of 3 different players scoring a hat trick has just been ripped away from our grasp. And I don't know what the NHL or the hockey gods or what it is not wanting me to nail this prediction properly. But if one more hat trick gets taken away this season, I demand that it be validated and at least have an asterisk beside it, because I can't do it anymore. I was so excited that Jordan Eberle, my guy, scored another hat trick, and I was so pumped. And I would like to propose that, based on the symmetry of these two rejected hat tricks, is that we now call them Matty Hatties, because Matty Beniers has been the reason why both of those hat tricks has been scratched off. So I'll leave that up to others. We like rhyme schemes around here. We'll see if we
did you
stay.
did you guys both see the second goal? Or
They
like
never
everything's
touched it.
yeah, like
It
There
like
was
I
no
was
deflection there
they went like
whatsoever.
under his skate. They got to file a grievance or
I
something
was
on that.
wondering if like they could change it back after the game.
They
Because
should
when I
be
was
able
when I
to.
was tweeting it out, I went in to look because I was like, "Oh, is that like a natural hat trick?" Because on the Sportsnet broadcast that we had, they 2 minutes before that, we're talking about Brandon Montour and how he scored a natural hat trick. I was like, "Oh man, did like Jordan Eberle just pull this off again?" And I went and looked and said, "Ebbs, Matty Ebbs," and like, "What? No, what? When did
I'm pretty
this?"
sure the official change like happened like literally right as the third goal was scored.
Yeah, it
A
was like
minute,
right
like
before
30
that.
seconds after or something like that.
Yeah.
Ugh, angry. But I'm sure we'll talk more about that momentarily here when we get to one of our usual segments at the end. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN, that's code THPN, to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026. NHL. All rights reserved. Let's talk about some of the specifics from the last 7 days, or I guess more than that, even in some instances. We're going to look at some roster moves here first. We haven't had any trade events happen, but the trade deadline is coming up. We'll talk more about that later. But on Thursday, the Kraken placed Tye Kartye on waivers. He was picked up in the window by the New York Rangers and made his debut with his new team on Saturday. Molly Walker tweeted that Cart said in the Rangers locker room that, quote, "It was a crazy 24 hours. Found out at like 11 o'clock yesterday, hustled to make a 2:45 p.m. flight, packed what I could, and then got here. It was kind of nice. Just slept, woke up, and came to play," end quote. So from you guys, what was your reaction to him getting placed on waivers and scooped up? We have had a noted history of Derek just trying to get a bag of all-dressed chips in exchange for Tye Kartye. So what, maybe Derek, you go first. What was your reaction to this news coming out?
Yeah, when he was placed on waivers, I think I replied to the BTW account and said that I thought he was going to stay. I didn't really want to be like that guy that's like, who cares, or like he'll probably leave. But I don't think it's the biggest impact to the team that it could have possibly been. I think Cartier is like a great person and a great player and stuff, but and I think his story's really cool. Like he when he came in, he scored in his first game and it was in the playoffs, stuff like that. That's pretty insane. I think he kind of set the bar high for himself in terms of like the fans. But I don't think anyone expected like his production to be insane or anything, but I think it was still on like just too low. But it's kind of funny because when Tanev was like on his way out slash had just left, I was like, oh, Cartier is just a cheaper version and can do just as much. And now I kind of feel the same with like Melanson or something. Like it's just keep going down the the totem pole. It's like kind of shows that like guys that are kind of like that, just fourth line NPC type NHL players are kind of just like you can kind of make them out of
Interchangeable.
yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's a big word for me. But yeah, that's kind of how I felt. What about you, Ox?
As soon as I saw him be placed on waivers, I was like, well, he's gone. I just think that like I know you don't like you like when you watch his game, Derek, like I know you're not like the biggest fan of him, but like I definitely think that he had like impactful moments on the ice for the Kraken throughout his seasons and his tenure here. He's too good for the AHL, and that's why as soon as I see him go on waivers, I was like, someone's gonna claim him. So the fact that he went to New York, he's got Borgie there, so like that's pretty cool. But like I think it wasn't too big of a surprise, but like the Kraken fan base on like I don't know about you, but on Twitter was pissed. And I think it's just the one thing that I really saw from like the replies like when I even like reported it like after it all happened because was a lot of people are frustrated to watch younger players just be given up for absolutely nothing when you have older players on expiring deals taking up spots of younger players that aren't being as impactful as they should be, especially right now. So like I think, and I agree with that to some point. Like some people were mentioning like Schwartz and such. Man, I'm like, okay, well, Schwartz is injured and he's still producing. He doesn't have the same point total that he did last season, but like he's still producing. I still think he's going to be a trade candidate. But like I don't see where Kartye was going to be able to slot into this lineup moving forward. Like I love the guy, but like the team outgrew him to a point where he was going to be an AHL player in this organization.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. Like that, and that's nothing towards him. But like I think this was the best outcome for him for his career. and like the Rangers are an absolute dumpster fire right now. So like that's probably going to benefit him. And that sounds terrible to say, but like maybe he gets a little bit more ice time. Maybe that, impacts the way he plays or he develops better. He's still young, so like he can still figure things out. Like maybe he becomes a third line guy. Maybe he figures it out and becomes a second line guy. Hell, maybe he just becomes Morgan Geeky. Like we don't know. So, it's been great to like watch him play, and as a fellow Kingstonian, like it was pretty awesome. So, but best of luck to him in his future. And like you mentioned, Derek, he's got a great story. So undrafted, and what he did with the Kraken during his time was pretty sweet.
If Tye Kartye turned into Morgan Geeky and was like the leading goal scorer for like a prolonged period of time in the entire NHL, I would literally get a Tye Kartye tattoo.
Okay,
Like
but
I'm not even not
the
even
reason
kidding.
the reason why I use Morgan Geeky is that when Morgan Geeky was on the Kraken, nobody expected him to become Morgan Geeky
No,
of
no,
the
no,
Boston
yeah,
Bruins.
100%, 100%.
So like it
And
could
then
happen.
also another thought on what you said. I hadn't seen that thing about Schwartz. No disrespect to whoever said that, but it kind of got me feeling like the same way I did about Borgen when people were saying that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna chill out a little bit. But yeah, no, not in this universe are Schwartz and Cartier even remotely comparable. That's all I wanted to say.
Do you think like the Kraken and Rangers have some sort of like secret best friend deal that they do with each other? Because we have Cartier, we had Borgen, we had Wenberg, we got Capo. Like they're just
I was
like
just
our
gonna ask. I was just
favorite
gonna
guys
ask
to go to.
ahead of the
Blackwell.
deadline. Would you guys take a Capo Caco for Cartier and Borgen trade?
No, God no.
All right. We had some exciting news on the Kraken front that the Seattle Kraken signed two two-year contract extensions on Tuesday. The first going to Ryan Winterton, who was signed at a 1.125 million AAV, and Ben Myers at a $1 million AAV. What were your thoughts and reactions on these two guys?
Ben Myers is a dog, and Ryan Winterton is a dog. I love both those dudes, and I think that they're both cheap. Um, Ben Myers has been really impressive, especially at this point in his career. But yeah, he's just kind of blossomed into like a great fourth line player, which is really cool to see. A lot of people on the ice crew are really up on Ben Myers. A lot of Ben Myers fans. So both those guys are cool and both cheap. So that's dope.
Love the deal on both of the guys. Ryan Winterton's really come into his own this season. As a fourth line guy, but can be played up in the lineup. Like we've seen him play on the third line, and he's been successful in those types of roles. So a 2-year deal at 1.125 million, fantastic, fantastic. And Ben Myers, absolute same. He's really come out and made an impact on that fourth line, and those are the guys you need, especially on dirt contracts like that. Like we managed to secure Ryan Winterton and Ben Myers for less of what Brandon Tanev was costing us last season. So like that's incredible in its own right. And then just some other news. I don't know if you saw it earlier today, but the Kraken did sign
Well, you're stepping on my thing I was gonna say.
damn it, you go. You just
Well,
rid of
I
all
want to
that
talk
and then you
about
just
Ryan
go.
Winterton first.
Uh-oh,
Uh,
the Canadians are beefing.
Right. I was really stoked to see Ryan Winterton re-sign. We were pretty lukewarm on him at the like end of last season, start of this season. We're like, yeah, he's just like a guy, whatever, who really cares? But he's really kind of stepped up and become an NHL player now. Like the times when he's been called up to play on second line minutes, that's awesome to see a guy like him get that shine, get that showcase that he can have. Ben Myers, like Derek said, he's a dog. He's gonna be in there grinding. He's a perfect fourth line guy for this team, especially when lumped in with like Jacob Melanson is awesome. But yeah, there was one new signing announced earlier today, and if your experience seeing the tweet was anything like mine, you did about 5 different takes at it to make sure you were reading, because I don't know what in the hell ESPN kind of name this is, but the Seattle Kraken this afternoon signed forward Ryden Evers So now we have a Riker Evans and a Ryder Evers from the Penticton Vs on a 3-year entry level contract. Just looking at his stats here real quick. This season with the Vs, he has played in 60 games with 31 goals and 38 assists for 69 points. Uh, cool just seeing a new guy come along, but I had to laugh at that name because I wish that he played defense so we could have a defensive pairing of Riker Evans and Ryder Ever right. See, I'm even messing it up now. Riker Evans and Ryden Evers, because it would just be chaos and commentators' brains would explode.
It's kind of funny because Tye Kartye was also an undrafted player. So I wonder if they're like, oh, we got rid of our undrafted, gem just left, so we got to find another.
I love this pick because like when you look at his stats over the previous years, like he was playing in the BCHL before this, so he wasn't even playing in like the WHL. This is the first season that he was playing in the WHL. 60 games, currently has 69 points. He's an overager, he's 20 years old, but like sometimes you find those hidden gems, and I'm excited about this pick. It's going to be an absolute mind f when you try to pronounce. If he ever gets up to the NHL level, and Riker Evans passes it over to Ryan Evers, I'm going to be absolutely befuddled. But why not take a chance at some guy like this? Sometimes these pan out, aka a Tye Kartye. So I don't know. For me, like take it and go with it because it could be something that could be, a great piece to have later on in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. So a couple quick injury updates now. Berkeley Catton, Ben Myers, and Jaden Schwartz all returned to the lineup after they were out before the break. So that was really good to see. And then, unfortunately, we have a guy out now, Ryan Lindgren. He left Monday's game against the Dallas Stars in the first period with an undisclosed injury, and he missed the other 2 games last week. So I don't think there's been any update on him as of now, but I think yesterday saw Cale Fleury cycle in to play. So we're getting some of those press box guys a little bit of ice time here.
You know what? He rocked. Was it Colin Blackwell?
I think so.
He absolutely rocked him. And when I saw him get up, I'm like, really? We're gonna let Colin Blackwell knock you out of the lineup? Because like Colin Blackwell's like 5'8", soaking wet, and Ryan Lindgren's like over 6 feet. So like beautiful hit, but like what a shame. But great hit altogether.
Wait, you said 5'8" soaking wet?
Yeah, I know. I said what I said. Blame it on no sleep. Okay, we're gonna go with that.
All right. So we had 3 games this week. They were split: 2 games for Joey, 1 game for Gru. Derek, as the goalie stats man, how did this week look for the 2 guys?
Okay, so we have 3 games to talk about. The first was a Stars game that Joey Decord played in. There were 3.52 expected goals against, and he allowed 4. You can do the math on that one. I'm just kidding. But he had an .875 save percentage, saved 28 of 32 shots. The next game was a back-to-back, so Philip Grubauer played, and he had 2.66 expected goals against and 4 goals for, so negative 1.34 goals saved above expected. And I don't know if that's just from like, Decord during the Olympic break actually got to sit out and Philly Grewstake had to actually play. So maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But yeah, that's an .871 save percentage, so not great. 27 to 31 shots. And then the Canucks game last night, Joey Decord played, and he had 2.85 expected goals against, 1 goal allowed, and that was 27 of 28 shots with a .964 save percentage. So great game last night. Obviously, it's the Canucks, and they're a complete dumpster fire. Not very good, but some like atypical and kind of off goaltending against the Stars and the Blues, but it's the Stars for one for Joey. But yeah, the Blues game I think Gru would want to have back for sure. And then league wide for the goals saved above expected per 60 minutes of play, Philip Grubauer is now sitting in 12th. I don't know if you guys remember the OGs a couple weeks ago who were listening. He was at like 5th or something, and Decord was at like 32nd. Decord's now at 31st, and Gru's at 12th. So the gap is narrowing. Gru isn't as much of like a, completely like top 10 standout guy right now. But he's still really, really, really solid. I still think they're somewhat interchangeable at the moment, so that's really good. In a good way. They're not like both so bad that I don't care who's playing. They're both so good that I don't care who's playing. It's awesome. But yeah, you guys have any thoughts on the goaltenders in general?
I think those first two games was just oof, ouchie, hurt to see and sit through. But the last game felt really good. There were some wild moments from Joey, and he was this close, this close to getting the goalie
Oh
goal.
my.
And anytime he touched the puck in those last 3 minutes with the empty net, like the crowd just erupted, and the people commentating on Sportsnet were just like, "Oh, these fans want it so bad." And oh, if it just would have like hit, like, why did you shovel it so good? It could have like hit a piece of snow and banked over
Yeah, we should
like
have
two
had like
inches to the
a
right.
we should have had like an inverse triangle of like only cleared in like a cone shape leading into
Yeah,
the net.
it just
Yeah,
like triangulates in the back of the
exactly.
goal. Yeah.
But yeah, it was like a snub fest at CPA. It was just like, oh, got snubbed to that and snubbed to the hat trick after everyone threw their hats. It's just,
But man,
oh,
he wants it. It's gonna come. It's gonna be there. It's gonna be exciting.
do we play Vancouver again at home this year?
I don't know. I'll look while
Just
Alex
kidding.
talks.
Yeah, for goalie, yeah, I feel like both the Dallas and St. Louis games are just games you can just forget about. Like Joey's first game back after like what 2.5 weeks off, you're probably going to be shaking some of the rust off, and that clearly is something that was happening. Grubauer was playing in the Olympics, so he was playing, playing every game, but like it is what it is. St. Louis and Jordan Kyrou just seemed to always figure it out against us. And then Vancouver, Joey did excellent. So, you win some, you lose some. But overall, I can't complain at the end of the day. Goaltending wasn't the reason we lost in Dallas, and goaltending wasn't the reason we lost in St. Louis, in my opinion. I think both games, the team just got outworked, and offense was non existent for either of those games. And, your goaltenders are your last line of defense. But when there's no fight in both offense and defense, goaltenders are going to be left out to dry. So it is what it is.
Is
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
it is. We have a couple exciting milestones to shout out from this week. The first one in Saturday night's game, Vince Dunn played in the 600th career NHL game against Vancouver, or 600th NHL game. He hasn't played Vancouver 600 times. He's played against Vancouver in his 600th NHL game. So there's that. And in that same game, Adam Larson recorded his 200th career assist. So it was a great weekend for what Everett Fitzy would call the law firm of Dunn and Larson. Big moments for the defense this week. All right, and our last thing we're going to talk about this week, the trade deadline at our time of recording is 6 days away, less than 6 days away. It is coming up. We are bracing for impact on it if anything is going to happen. So I just laid out a little trade deadline history for the Kraken and how they've done before. So I'm going to ramble off these years and what has happened, and I just want to hear from you guys how we think those planned out. I just have the picks that we got. I didn't go through and say like this pick which turned into so and so and this pick which turned into so and so, but you know what, if you want that, figure out your own research. All right, last year 2025 we sent Yanni Gourde, Oliver Bjorkstrand to Tampa Bay in exchange for Mikey Eyssimont, a 2025 second round pick, and first round picks both this year and next year. We also sent Brandon Tanev to Winnipeg in exchange for a 2027 second round pick. And everyone's favorite Daniel Sprong, we sent to the New Jersey Devils for a 7th round pick in 2026. How do we feel about those moves when we ship those guys out?
Last year, I think the return was spectacular for the Kraken. It's going to give them a lot to play with, either at the draft or at the deadline this week, because you got a lot of firsts and you got a lot of seconds, and teams like those. So if the Kraken want to make a splash for one of those top players, those are good picks to have.
Yeah, really just picks galore, and then the Kraken were able to provide a little bit of fun to the fan base at the end of last year with Mikey E when the whole team just kind of sucked, and it was just a little bit of fun. So yeah, it was good, but like Alex said, really good value on the picks.
Yeah, I remember seeing the return on Gordon Bjorky and just being like, "Oh man, 2 first-round picks, that's ridiculous." And then the extra stuff on top of that too.
Yeah, like think
Uh,
about it. Like Daniel Sprong was like playing in the AHL, like in the middle of that year, and we got a draft pick for him, and then Cartier, who's like been pretty much on the NHL roster for a solid amount, like absolutely nothing. So that
Yeah,
kind of puts in
we got
perspective.
Daniel Sprong from Vancouver for future considerations, which I think they just maybe forgot about because when I was researching this, it didn't have anything documented from what went back to them. So I
Oh
guess
my
we are just
gosh.
doing them a favor or something. Maybe we sent them a bag of
Still,
Lay's potato chips.
yeah,
Usually, like
still
those future,
considering.
yeah, usually those future considerations are like, hey, we'll give you a 7th round pick in like 2029, but it has to be like the conditions that have to be met are like X, Y, and Z. And it's like, if Daniel Sprung wins the Selkie, we'll
Yeah,
give you a 7th round pick. And if that doesn't
Cartier turns
happen,
into
it's
Morgan
nothing.
Geeky.
Yeah.
All right, 2024, we only had one trade this year. We sent Alex Wenberg to the Rangers for a 2024 second round pick and a 2025 fourth round pick. Uh, Alex Wenberg, I was a fan of him when he was around. I thought he was a fun guy, especially from the community sense with the Kraken. He was a big cornerstone part of it. How do we feel when we sent him away?
Yeah, I mean, value wise, like decent, I guess, but like we also just could have kept him on like a relatively cheap deal, I think. Um, I think he was solid with the Rangers, and I think after the Sharks, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, he's
And
with the Sharks
then
right now.
yeah, and then we kind of had to overpay Stevenson to it. Like there was that Deep Sea Hockey article on Chandler Stevenson, and it makes the comp to Alex Wenberg. And since reading that article, it's like, yeah, dude, that he really just is like an Alex Wenberg replacement who we paid like double. It's just and a lot older too. Not to say that Stevie isn't dope and like hasn't had a lot of great moments, but who knows? Maybe Wenberg could have contributed pretty much about the same, on less and younger, and already has the team history and wasn't a former Vegas Golden Knight, you know.
So looking at here, Wenny is 31 years old.
Okay.
His current cap hit is 5 million. He is 6 million in the 28-29 season. And isn't Stevie like 6.25? Something like that.
Yeah, actually, never mind. And isn't Stevie also 31 or is he 32?
Yeah, he's 31 as
Yeah.
well. With the Sharks
Okay.
this season, when he has 11 goals, 27 assists for 38 points, and Stevenson has 14 goals, 25 assists for 39 points. So they're
Hey, Matt,
what's up?
can you wipe the last like 2 minutes of everything I said, please? Thank you.
Absolutely not.
All right,
No,
see ya.
it's going to be just like it happened to me. It's going to happen
Yeah.
to you.
This is why I have the battle station, like I said before we started recording.
Okay,
20,
it must just be the way Wenberg looks or something. He just seems younger to me. Maybe it's the hair or something.
he's
I
got
don't
that
know.
Swedish youth to him.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one thing I
All right.
will say about that Wenberg trade is we did draft Nathan Villeneuve with that
Mhm.
pick, which is promising. So like that, I do like that. So that's something to keep an eye on in future years.
I'm just gonna look up something. Seattle Kraken draft picks.
You're gonna correct me on this one? Be like,
No.
actually, it was Julius Mittinen.
2020. Oh, we must have done something with that 2025 second round pick because
Yeah,
he only had one second round pick last draft.
yeah.
Unless we had previously traded it away and then it took that spot. Anyway, whatever. 2023, big trade deadline year for the Seattle Kraken, where we did nothing. Nothing happened.
And we made the playoffs.
And we made the playoffs. So I guess they were just really content with how the ship was sailing, and they decided to keep on going on. And 2022 was a big one because this was post expansion draft, post inaugural season, or I guess mid inaugural season, when the following moves were made. We acquired Victor Rask from Minnesota for future considerations. Nothing came of that. Daniel Sprong and 2 picks we got from Washington in exchange for Marcus Johansson. Mason Appleton went to Winnipeg for a pick. Jeremy Lauzon went to Nashville for a pick. OG captain Mark Giordano and Colin Blackwell went to Toronto for 3 picks. And the boy, Calle Jarnkrok, went to Calgary for 3 picks. So we just dumped everything that first season.
Yeah, this was definitely by far the most cursed trade deadline. It's just I don't even thinking of this as being the Kraken is just I don't even remember this. Like this is insane. Like I do, but it's just so cursed. And Victor Rask, bro. If someone is talking about Victor Rask, that's how you know that they're like an OG Kraken fan. If you hear anyone ever say the name Victor Rask, that's how you know.
You know, the fact like everybody knows your boy Callie, like all that, or like, you know, Colin Blackwell, everybody thought like Colin Blackwell was a stud on the fourth line. You know, everybody despised Jeremy Lauzon, and the fact that we got a second round pick for him was like absolutely wild. You know, how do you like them apples with Mason Appleton? Daniel Sprong, everybody thought he was like the second coming of Jesus. The first
That is
time
true.
around.
That is true. He was an offensive weapon.
Right. You know, and then Victor Rask is, you know, picking him up, and everyone's like, Victor Rask. And then he did absolutely nothing for us. Or, you know, naming Mark Giordano the first captain in franchise history and then shipping him off like 4 months later. And that was the end of it. Like, the Seattle Kraken's inaugural season was such a dumpster fire in its own way that like you look at that lineup and you're like, Jesus, like this was the team. Like it's absolutely wild when you think about it.
Is there anyone from this that you would want back on the Kraken?
No.
For me, it's only Lausanne because dude was absolutely tearing it up with Nashville like the subsequent years in terms of just being an absolute menace defensively. And I thought we could use that for sure. My brother's a huge Nashville fan. It's the only reason I know. But Lausanne, I think, had a couple great defensive years after we shipped him off, which is just so Kraken.
I would totally like, you know, Daniel Sprong back, like the OG Daniel Sprong before chaos ensued. Because, like, okay, let's be serious here. Like, when he first came to the Kraken, like, he could not get an assist if his life depended on it. But, like, that
It was
guy
only
could
goals.
put the puck in the back of the net like nobody's business. Like, it was
Absolutely.
fantastic. So, I don't know, like, if you could, like, reincarnate Daniel Sprong like in that season into like some other player, that'd be great because like Daniel Sprong can like, you know, live off of his life in the KHL or wherever the hell he is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
other than
yeah,
that, like,
honestly, what you said, like he really didn't have any talents besides like when he'd get the puck in the offensive side of the ice, he'd be able to cook. But like defensively, not good at all. Yeah, like you said, can't pass to people, but like he's really a product of being out there with like Geeky, Donato,
yeah.
those guys who also like we don't have any of those guys anymore. It's insane.
Oh yeah, it's like Thanos snapped his finger and
Oh
like
my
the entire
gosh.
team just disappeared.
So I know I said I wasn't gonna like I didn't have who went for what picks and all that kind of stuff, but just looking at 2022, which would have been the immediate fallout of a lot of these, we had a excuse me, we had 11 picks in that draft. And here are some of the names that came up. So in our second round, Jagger Firkus was our first pick, which I'm gonna assume was our pick. But then we had 3 more second round picks in Yanni Newman, Nikki Coco, and David Goyette. So those are some big grabs. Third round, we had Ty Nelson. That was just our pick. Fourth round, we had Tyson Jugnoth, who's going to hopefully be a big deal when we get down the line. And then Tucker Robertson was the bonus fourth, who we sent away at the start of this season to Philadelphia, I believe. So we got some decent returns for getting rid of some of those guys, or at least decent prospective returns. hopefully. We got some AHL elites for those picks. We'll say that at least for sure. So yeah, March 6th is the trade deadline. So we got a couple days to wait and see what happens. Like, I'm gonna upload this in 2 hours once we're done here, and I'm sure 10 o'clock tomorrow morning we're gonna have something hit our desk that something happened, and all of this will be for nothing. So look forward to that, because the podcast curse is real, and I'm sure something is going to happen very, very soon.
So before we jump to the next thing, give me one wild trade that you're just like trade speculation or like trade that you believe could happen.
I literally have no idea. All I've heard is
Honestly.
like Kairu floated. That's literally, or like you said, Pedersen or whatever. I literally have no idea though. I'm super bad with that stuff.
I have no idea. I think it'll be exciting to see someone go as much as it'll hurt. Like, I could see like Jamie Alexak going back to Dallas or something like that. Dave Pagnotta probably said that like Shane Wright is a for sure thing gone about 7 times in the last 24 hours. So we'll just have to wait and see. I
Oh,
really
is
have
he on
no
that again?
I don't know, probably.
Oh,
It's kind
okay.
of been like across the board now that like a lot of people like Friedman's been saying the same thing though, being like not that he's like gone 100%, but like if the right player gets dangled in the Kraken's face, like Shane Wright would be the obvious player that would be
So we're
going.
back to the whole like I just want clicks and I just want money as a writer for
Yeah.
just saying like the
Yeah.
obvious. That nice.
Like I wouldn't be shocked if like with the whole Panarin thing, like I'm pretty sure if they were trying to pick up Panarin, like Shane Wright would have been the player going back.
Yeah, it did come out. How much did they pitch Panarin on? Wasn't it like
3 years, 14 and a half
14?
million a
three
year.
three
Yeah,
years for
14 something.
14? Oof,
Yeah.
that'd been crazy. All right. So yeah, we'll just wait and see what happens on that. Derek, we kind of teased this segment before talking about the Torrance stuff, but on the Kraken side, do you have a shovel story from last night's game? Perhaps the botched hat trick.
Yes, absolutely. First before the game, we always get like the media meal, so it's like chef made food for free, which is sick. Just want to flex on everybody listening. But last night it was Black Hockey History Night, and there was like a local black owned restaurant that only caters, and it was like mac and cheese, jerk chicken,
Oh my God.
steamed cabbage, brown rice with red beans. And dude, like the seasoning was literally like the best shit I've ever had. I like wanted to like send her an email and ask like what the seasoning was. So
That's probably a family secret or something.
100%. It's probably what keeps her in business because that is just insane. There's something addictive in there. Okay, that out of the way. The Kraken game obviously was dope. Shoveling was pretty standard. Oh my gosh, wait. Back to the Torrent game. We had another person take a spill.
Uh-oh. Was it you?
No, it was not me, but she was right in front of me though. It was the third shoveling of the period, and she had her roller skate guards on when she was trying to go out on the ice.
Oh
Instantly,
no.
instantly face planted like right in front of me as we were all going out. And her skate guard just flew up into the air, and I was like trying to process what was going on. I was like, "What in the world?" So got another spill. The rule is anytime that someone falls, you have to buy the entire Zamboni crew a case of beer.
Ooh.
And so she'll have to do that. They said one for each skate guard though, so I think they're demanding two. But
That's brutal. I
yeah,
you know what, as someone who I still remember as a kid, like getting ready to play like a hockey game and being like I'm ready to go, and then just falling flat on my face because I
yep.
forgot my skate guards. Like I totally feel that pain.
We actually had a member of the ice crew in the inaugural season step onto the ice with hard skate guards on at practice at KCI, and I think he like tore his like ACL or meniscus or something. He was like out the entire year after that and a serious
LTIR.
injury. Yes, ice crew LTIR. But no, the botched hat trick was pretty crazy. It's the second time I've ever gone out for one. The first time, obviously, being Jordan Eberle's in the inaugural season. And then, yeah, so I was like, oh my God, Ebs again. Like, Ebs just gets hat tricks when I'm here. Let's go. someone threw their Zin can out there and it broke in half on the ice. And it was cool. Like Capo Caco picked up a hat with his stick and like I skated over and he like put it into the bag and I'm like, oh, I'm like fangirling. I'm like, no way. And then like I'm like on my knees trying to get this Zin can and one of the Canucks players kind of just like corrals both the top and bottom of the Zin can with his stick and like it slides over to me and I'm like, dude, I was like venting to him. I'm like, bro, this is ridiculous. But no, it was cool. Um yeah, it was sweet. And then got called back. And then as you like we're talking about earlier, the Joey Decord almost goal, everyone was freaking out for that. But no, it was a great game. Great first game back from the break.
Awesome.
Oh,
We're on a
good.
homestand coming up here. So do you got more games on this schedule this week?
Uh the aforementioned law school is taking a precedent over the Monday and Wednesday game coming up. Or no, sorry, not Monday. Yeah, sorry, Monday and Wednesday game coming up, but I am working next Saturday, so there will be some shovel stories.
Oh, very nice. Alex, who are those matchups against next week?
So yeah, we got 3 games on the schedule this week. Monday, we do play against the Carolina Hurricanes at home. Uh, Wednesday, it's a rematch against the St. Louis Blues right before the trade deadline. So that's going to be interesting. And then after the deadline ends on the 7th, on the Saturday, they will play the Ottawa Senators. So we could be seeing a couple new fresh faces in the Kraken lineup on Saturday, which should and could be very interesting. I don't know about you, but I'm really excited the fact that the Kraken are at home for the deadline. So like they're not moving around. It's not going to be any like travel. Like they're going to be situated at home and they can do their deals without being like, hey, we're in the Hilton in middle of BFN and what do you want? What do you want for this guy? But other than that, the Torrent do play on Wednesday in Ottawa. So there's 3 games in the 1 game for the Torrent. Record wise, Carolina's pretty good. St. Louis is meh, and the Senators are, I don't know. I'm gonna go 2-1. I think we're gonna lose to Carolina, but beat St. Louis in the Sens. And then I hope to God Seattle beats Ottawa.
Yeah, I think because the Kraken are currently on a 4-game win streak at home, that we keep that going and I pull a Derek card and we go 3-0 this week. And I am on board with the possibility of the Torrent not doing well and getting the top pick in the draft, and then we get Layla Edwards on the Seattle Torrent.
Wait, do the Torrent have the system where like once a team is eliminated from playoffs, they accrue points for the first overall pick?
There's something like that. PWHL draft.
I think they have to start winning once they're eliminated from playoffs to get the first overall pick.
Yeah, it's to like prevent tanking.
Tanking, yeah. What if we're not doing it on purpose though?
The PWHL draft utilizes 7-round, a 42 selection format where non-playoff teams, blah, 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 based on the gold plan, earning points after elimination. The team with the most points after elimination picks first, while the 4 playoff teams pick third to sixth in reverse order from regular season standings. So yes,
And
the
just
gold,
like
the
that,
gold plan.
I think I just redeemed myself from the Stevenson mix-up.
You did.
Just saying. I'll tag along with you and go 3-0 and 0, okay? Let's just do it.
Heck yeah. Alex, the Olympics have caused an NHL break, but CV has still been going at it. What's the current looking?
Wait. Did we say that the Torrent play or no?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's why
cool.
we were
cool.
talking about the Torrent and the draft, and
Never
so
mind.
now you just undid your undoing, so
See,
you're back.
it's
Your plus minus is back negative. Okay, so Alex, how are things looking down with the Firebirds?
Yeah, with the Firebirds, they are still sitting in 5th in the Pacific with a record of 28, 19, and 5. Logan Morrison and Yager Furcus co-lead the team with 49 points apiece. This week, the Firebirds do play 3 times. On Wednesday, they will be away against the Silver Knights, and then they play back at home on both Saturday and Sunday against the Wranglers in both games. So some solid competition this week. But everything still looks promising for the Firebirds. I do expect them to secure a playoff spot, so they should be in the AHL playoffs this season again.
Awesome. Well, that'll do it for us this week. We are very excited to be back in your feeds and hope you had a good time hanging out with us once again. And we'll be back next week with hopefully some exciting trade deadline news for the Seattle Kraken. If you want to find more BTW online, Derek, where could people do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, go check out everything that we have on the store. You can go buy some Cartier Partye morning merch at bit.ly/BTW store. Hopefully we'll have some new designs soon of players that are currently on the Seattle Kraken. And not just former Seattle Kraken members, especially with the trade deadline coming up. Maybe we'll wait for the trade deadline.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna Benadryl any ideas until after the trade deadline passes.
Yeah, don't waste any of that allergy medicine. And then go check out Heather's articles, like I was talking about at the start of the show. The link will be in the show notes for that, or you can follow at Heather Nicole with no E, and at the Hockey News W to go see more of her work. And keep your eyes on our podcast feed to see when she drops more PWHL episodes. Please also drop a follow and a 5-star review on the podcast app of your choice, and follow us on all socials. It helps us out a whole lot if you could take a second to like or comment on those videos. If you lost your hat last night of the game, go to the BTW store and get a new one headed your way. In the meantime, go follow us everywhere at BTW SCA. All right, that'll do it for us. See you guys next week after the Kraken have won 3 more games in a row. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
We going beneath the waves. Going beneath the waves.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.